Only 2 sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way? Or could there be some other reason?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine. I'm just a little shaken, that's all. I knew what I was already, so it's not like it's a surprise or anything. But it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for. I'm scared that I'll put a face to it, just to have someone to blame.
If that were to happen, then No. Then we'd help you fight it, before you ever got that far. Wouldn't we, everyone?
Yeah, we wouldn't just sit by and watch you spiral out of control.
That's right. No good can come from being consumed by hatred.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back. To remind you where home is.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear, should you ever have need.
Thank you, everyone. I think I'll be okay now.
I guess I should clarify, because this is something I actually, to be honest, kind of forgot myself, but Tales of games tend to have very, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost existential levels of I don't know what the right word is for this. Their stories are so out there. A lot of them are very sci-fi-esque in the way that they are crafted and misleading and mysterious, like this game has been, where you're like lots and lots of questions, and every time you start to find answers, it answers a little bit and then creates more questions. Like, even though it's oftentimes set in a fantasy realm, Tales of games are some of the best, to me, some of the best sci-fi type stories in RPGs out there. Like, they're not your typical, I'm a hero and I, get a superpower and I go on my hero's quest and I save the world from the giant dragon and rescue the princess type stories. They're often very surreal. That's a good word for it. They're often very surreal. And they often involve a lot of questionable villainy, in that you don't always understand what the villains are up to or why they do things until the very end. And then you go, oh, wow. And it just kind of like blows your mind a little bit. And there are oftentimes very unexpected reasons for things that kind of like they just drop it on you at like late in the game, and then you go, wow, it makes total sense, but I never would have thought of that. Tales of Abyss is one that I remember that happening and just going like, okay, that was, wow, I wasn't expecting that at all. I'm gonna have to go back and play a lot of Tales games. It's been a long time. Like, I played Tales of Berseria like 2 or 3 years ago when it first came out, and it was great. I don't think I played a Tales game probably for like 10 years before that. I played a bunch of them all back to back. I might have to go back this year or next year and play a bunch of Tales games. They can be very mind-bending, very surreal, very existential, very out there. I'm kind of getting that vibe right now with this one. Like, it's definitely very, 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 like, mind-warping. But anyway, let's continue on. Select a topic to explore. Sedative Mask. A device covering the wearer's whole face that restricts their mental capacity or activity. It was developed for the purpose of pacifying prisoners. Medical applications are also recognized, particularly as a means of preventing patients from sustaining mental trauma. However, doing so is not recommended, as prolonged use of the device carries the risk of inducing a number of adverse side effects. Addendum: due to the loss of production facilities incurred from the partial destruction of Lenegis, which was probably Alphen, additional devices will no longer be manufactured. After receiving reports of a robust new form of rule emerging in Dana's water realm, a study was commissioned to investigate the matter in depth. This is Walrun. This system is unique in that it elevates only the Lord as the supreme authority, while relegating both Renans and Danans alike to enslavement. Test subject 10-10-5, which was Walrun, serves as the realm's current lord and has achieved this without the use of any special powers, drugs, or special devices. Rather, it has done so by sheer governance. Given this method's effectiveness at population control, monitoring of the situation will continue. Addendum 1. Collapse of cognitive facilities via extreme mental repression rooted in violence and fear has proven to be key to this style of rule. Once a subject loses its autonomy, they become desensitized to fear and subsequently cease to prioritize even their own personal safety. Though such a state is ill-suited for commanding officers, it remains an effective way to cultivate disposable infantry and slaves for manual labor. Addendum 2. Soldiers in Lenegis who have undergone this treatment will be asked to secure classified sectors as a trial. So the soldiers we fought through to get here, okay. The results will be monitored. Okay, Lenegis. A large-scale astral energy converter that primarily converts the elemental composition of Dana's astral energy and transmits it to Rena. Activation and control of astral energy conversion is achieved by placing the Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma within the central core of Lenegis. I think that's why my gut instinct was that it might be Naomi behind all this, because while we found records of them creating another Sovereign, and we technically know there's another Maiden because she's on our team, her name is Shion, there weren't any records about other Maidens, which seems a little suspect to me. Okay, anyway. It is comprised of classified and essential personal residential zones around a large conduit, along with the defensive layers surrounding them. This outer layer is deployed upon activation, unlocking the central conduit while simultaneously functioning as a stabilizing mechanism. Due to its design, development of the outer layer is expected to cause damage to residential zones, or deployment of the outer layer. However, because that only takes place during the final stage of the spirit channeling ceremony. Spirit channeling ceremony. No contingency plan to address said damage is needed. Until that phase, Lenegis serves as the central base of operations for the management and execution of the crown contest on Dana. Warning: any personnel with level 3 authority or lower is strictly forbidden from the classified zone. Any violators will be immediately executed. Detachable harvester, that must be the wedge. A massive spirit vessel placed on Dana for the spirit channeling ceremony. Oh no, what is this spirit channeling ceremony? It serves as the tip of Lenegis conduit from which it separates. Upon landing in Danan waters, it extends 2 sets of conducting pathways. The vertical pathways connect to the center of Dana. Meanwhile, the horizontal pathways proceed to envelop the entire surface of Dana. Once activated, it links to the biological spirit vessels placed in each realm, efficiently harvesting the planet's astral energy en masse. The accumulated energy is then transmitted to Rena via Lenegis. Because construction and adjustment takes place in the Forbidden Zone's regulator area, Lenegis' outer layer must be deployed prior to launch. Intended to function semi-autonomously, only maintenance personnel are expected to manually interface with it when necessary. No other personnel is required for it to function. Addendum 1. Detachable Harvester 1 was lost on Dana after exploding due to the rampancy exhibited by the Sovereign. Detachable Harvester 2's landing point will remain at the same as that of the previous model. This is due to the explosion of the previous model, which altered the planetary topography, enabling easier connection to the center of Dana. So they've done this before? Couldn't have. Master cores are instruments of power containing astral energy that belongs to one of the 6 elements. 5 of these master cores, those with earth, water, fire, wind, and light, are loaned to Renan Lords at the time of the crown contest. Only the Dark Master Core is maintained inside the Forbidden Zone until the Renis Alma is ready to be reformed, its existence kept top secret. Underneath a Master Core's spherical outer layer is a force field crystal used for the purpose of astral energy containment and stabilization. Inside the force field, astral energy is stored in a dormant state. For the duration of their tenure, each Lord competes in the crown contest to amass their allotted type of astral energy. In the event of an emergency, each Lord may be allowed to withdraw from their respective stock of astral energy as necessary. However, the extent allowed is determined based on their own individual strength. Addendum 1. Design flaws have been discovered in how the Renis Alma materializes. Be advised that active Master Cores may resonate with other Master Cores located in close proximity and become unstable. Due to successful regeneration, or Addendum 2. Due to successful regeneration of the Renis Alma, Master Cores will cease to be deployed at the Crown Contest, and the Crown Contest will be permanently halted. Uh-oh. Spirit Cores are end terminals used for the collection of astral energy. When embedded in a biological subject, that doesn't sound good. It establishes connections through its body. Oh, these are the things they put in the Danans. Okay. These connections are used to amass astral energy generated from physical activity, which is then emitted from the host body itself. Because this emitted energy is prone to diffuse, the host must be placed within range of a spirit vessel for the energy to be collected. This means that Danans must be employed to harvest the astral energy for the purpose of the crown contest. Given the difficulty in producing them, it is advised that the spirit cores be retrieved from host bodies and reused upon their death. Spirit cores can also be embedded in Zeugles to control them via astral arts. Addendum. Increased physical load on a host body tends to produce increased astral energy emissions. Final confirmation of ideal workload to impose on host bodies without inducing death for maximum astral energy yields is still pending. Each crown contest, 5 of the best qualified members of the Renan populace are chosen to act as lords, vying to serve as the next sovereign. During their tenure, they are granted level 3 authority as well as one of the 5 elemental realms to administer and its corresponding master core. They are also assigned an ID crest indicating their designated element. The selection process is based upon astral, artistry, and physical and mental aptitude. Other variables such as age have no bearing whatsoever. Because only the strongest go on to become lords, the position itself does not inherently make an individual any stronger. It should be noted, however, that lords are not the only individuals capable of drawing out a Master Core's power. All Renans must take part in the selection process, and acceptance of the position is mandatory. It is not allowed for those deemed suitable to decline. Furthermore, in the event that an acting lord is incapacitated and can no longer serve in their position, a replacement must be quickly prepared. Unique Adjustment Index Test Subject Report. The following is a report on a second successful case of Sovereign Test Subject Experimentation. Volrun, given name Volrun, generation NA, unique adjustments NA. Although subject possesses high latent potential, it exhibits significant mental instability along with a strong distaste for following orders. As such, the risks it possesses surpass even those of the last successful subject, itself a failure, and is therefore under consideration for disposal. Addendum: this is the first successful case in 300 years. Previously mentioned risk factors are now mitigated due to established control protocols. Subject is to be evaluated under the assumption that Plan 2 will proceed and will be dispatched to Dana under the guise of serving as a lord. Plan 2. Uh-oh. The Sovereign acts as Lennigus' central control device for the spirit channeling ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. A Danon subject serves as the base of its creation. In theory, ideal candidates possess equal affinity for every astral element. However, such aptitude is statistically rare to uncover within real-world conditions. As a result, most subjects die during the adjustment period, and stability is still not guaranteed for those who survive it. This instability, coupled with the Sovereign's power of astral manipulation, pose a high risk to the security of Lennigus if left unchecked. As such, stabilization measures must be put in place via the support mechanism when utilizing the Sovereign in the spirit channeling ceremony. Addendum 1. No effective alternate methods to perform the ceremony have been found. Trials on Danon subjects are authorized to continue. Addendum 2. Unit 2 adjustments are a success. Subsequent adjustments are to be put on hold while extended observation takes place. The Maiden. Here we go. The Maiden acts as the Sovereign support mechanism for the spirit channeling ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. A Renan subject serves its functions, providing the Sovereign with the supplemental dark astral it lacks in tandem with the Renis Alma. During the ceremony, it is partly responsible for astral energy conversion, as well as maintaining stability over the Sovereign's own powers. Additionally, the degree of intimacy between it and the Sovereign has been observed to positively impact the level of stability in both subjects. Because of this, trial activations of the Sovereign without the Maiden present are expressly forbidden. Furthermore, neither the Sovereign nor the Maiden are to be informed about the details of the spirit channeling plan. Addendum 1. Mental instability in the Maiden has been deemed the cause of the past Sovereign's rampancy. Countermeasures must be considered. Addendum 2. In line with plan adjustments, the current subject will have its Maiden registration revoked and be returned to its original household. So Naomi got sent back? Is that what they're saying? There's so many questions. So here's the thing, before I go on. After reading all that and thinking a little bit, they sent the wedge down and transformed Lennigus because it's a one-time thing that should only occur during the spirit channeling ceremony, correct? And then in another portion of the computers, they talked about the spirit channeling ceremony was only could occur when the three things are together, which are the Sovereign, the Renis Alma, and the Maiden. Well, technically, Alpin's the Sovereign and Theon's the Maiden, and the Red Woman has the Renis Alma. But they're not doing channeling ceremony, so why would they have sent the wedge down? Unless the other Sovereign, Balron, is still alive, with the Red Woman who has the Renis Alma, and another Maiden. which to me would have to be Naomi. That's the only other one we know of. So, is that what's going on? Is that the three of them are here somewhere, or maybe on Rena someplace, performing or about to perform the ceremony again? And why? What does it do? Like, what does... Oh man, there's some questions about to be answered, or I hope.
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Renan never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Naori...
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lennigus will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lennigus.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lennigus crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.
I almost forgot they called him Iron Mask at the beginning of the game. Oh man. Is this gonna be the moment where we get betrayed? Oh, I'm so nervous now.